I'll tell you. It started about 30 years ago, I think, when in the late 60s, the beginning of the 70s, this guru from India came to Europe. He is called Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. That's the same time as Bhagwan came to Holland also. Then I started with transcendental meditation as my first step into the spiritual path, because I was a little bit depressed before and a little bit physical problems. But that, like for most people, the spiritual path start when you have a physical crisis or an emotional crisis. So for me also. And then I started to meditate, and I did it, about 7 years, quite strong every day. And after that time, I started to recognize there were still some problems with me, but also with other people I see that also are doing transcendental meditation. So I was interested in what's more, and I became interested in therapy, especially therapy that worked with trance, like NLP, hypnotherapy, past life therapy. So I started to learn past life therapy and hypnotherapy, NLP, voice dialogue, and other kind of therapies. And I started to work with people and therapy. Then I also find out that when you go with therapy into the source of the problems, you always go back deep in the past. And I discovered that this past that we have is not reduced to only this life, because there are things that comes from farther away, like past lives, or sometimes some problems are coming from prenatal in this lifetime. So I found a little bit the connection between therapy, problems, and the solutions in the circle of life. And the circle of life is something that I discovered also when I started to do the ayahuasca. Because when I did some therapy with myself and with people, then a few years later I started to give training in this kind of therapy. And in the training I discovered that, I came across ayahuasca. And through the ayahuasca I discovered deeper layers of this circle of life. For me, ayahuasca was a revelation. I started the ayahuasca by some students of me. They say, "Joop, would you like to come to our place? We have a shaman from Brazil, and he is giving ayahuasca." So yeah, I was interested, and because I had read this books of Carlos Castaneda, and he was also talking about the plants, the holy plants. They were used by Don Juan, his master. So yes, I was interested, and I went into to this ceremony with those Brazilians. And first time I never forget. It was perfect. It was wonderful. I was falling on the ground. I saw my body lying on the ground, and then I was in a spaceship, and I saw Jesus Christ on the Last Supper, and I saw 5 or 6 past lives in one ceremony. So I think, wow, that's good stuff. So from that moment on, I was doing ayahuasca, I think for almost 7-8 years, and I discovered a lot about myself, a lot about the relationship between myself and the universe, the relationship between the earth and the stars, the relationship between my emotions, my thinking, my spiritual being. There's a lot of things to discover, and I think I did some maybe 3, 4, 500 ceremonies in that 6, 7 years, and it was a wonderful time. But I also discovered there was some, let's say, not everybody got benefits of it in daily life, because you also can use the ayahuasca as an escape from daily life. But so it's important to integrate all the information of the ayahuasca into daily life, and well, that needs another kind of therapy. So I discovered a combination of different shamanistic techniques and the past life therapy, the regression therapy that I did, and I developed a new therapy form without ayahuasca. So that was the thing that I did then the next 6, 7 years. And then the ayahuasca came across my mind again. And I started to drink ayahuasca again. And then I thought maybe we should do a combination of ayahuasca ceremonies, special therapies, groups therapy, and maybe, well, I did it. And we started together with Nanda about, I think, 11 years ago. We started to do this combination of groups therapy and ayahuasca ceremonies in the evening. And that gives us a lot of information, and because people are in a group, the energy is stronger than when you do one-to-one session, and it's also nice to play music and to have CD music in the ceremonies, and and a lot of things come into consciousness from the unconscious in the ceremonies, and we can work it out in the daytime. So it's wonderful work now.